On today's Church TechCast Q&A show, live video on the stage display, Telestrator in ProPresenter 6, and outline text. Welcome again to the ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show. This is the show where every week I answer your church tech questions. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. I'm your host. I'd love for you to join the conversation, by the way. So just leave your question below the video. If you're not listening to the video, perfectly okay. Just drop me a line, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com. Okay, so the first question I have is in response to one of my ProPresenter 6 initial reaction videos. Zach Delano on YouTube asks, so the stage display can show live video now? Yeah, actually it can. Now at the time I didn't know whether it could do live video or just the pre-produced stuff. So I had to answer, well, I'm not quite sure, but I double checked, and yes, just as you can do the live video on the main screen, you can do live video in the stage display as well. So you could have lyrics on part of the stage display and the live video on another part of the stage display. Perfectly acceptable, works just fine. Richard Streeter on YouTube says, so the natural question is, how can the pastor do the drawing on the slide if the computer is in the booth? I don't think it's going to be useful in our situation unless there's a way to do that. You're right. That wouldn't be useful at all, which is why in the new remote app they're talking about having that as a possibility. So the pastor could have an iPad or iPhone and draw on the screen in that way. So I haven't seen the beta of the phone app yet. I'm supposed to get an email, so hopefully I'll know for sure sooner rather than later. Finally, Max sent me an email and said, hi Paul, hope all is well. ProPresenter is working great for us these days. He had a question a few weeks ago. I'm sure you're busy with Easter like me. This was question from around Easter. But just a quick question. We're using some new backgrounds for Easter, and I wonder if you have any settings off the top of your head for text properties, shadow, etc., that really help the text stand out. We can play around with it, but the controls in the editor are obviously all new to us, and getting them to where we like them is taking some time. Just looking for a starting point to make white text with the shadow really pop out against colored background. Appreciate your insight. Thanks, Max. So I wouldn't necessarily do a drop shadow. I mean, you could do that in addition to what I'm going to recommend, but a drop shadow, half of the text will stand out, but the other half won't. So one of the features that I think is a bare minimum in any worship software package is outline text. ProPresenter has this, Easy Worship has it, Media Shout has it, Proclaim, I believe, has it. So really, if what you're looking at doesn't have it, then don't go. But that wasn't Max's question. What I would do is I would turn on the outline text. I'd make it either gray or black, and I usually start with size 4. See how that looks. If it's too big, knock it down to 2 or 3. If it's too small, bump it up to 6 or 7. You know, and just go from there. So that's where I would start if I were you. I hope this helped you. I hope that one of those questions was one of your questions. And if it wasn't, this is your opportunity to leave your question. Just do it right below the video. Remember, we talked about this earlier. You might remember. Again, if you're listening to the audio to this show, no problem. You can hit me up on Twitter, Paul Allen Cliff, PaulAlanclif. That's a great way to do that as well. If you like this content, you can to be a part of my email newsletter, where I share new things that are happening in this ministry and new ways that I can help you to increase the effectiveness of your tech program at your church. To do that, I'm going to give you a gift. I know, sounds too good to be true, but that's the way it is. So if you head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS, that's more than one gift, then you can pick up a church tech gift and you'll get a free subscription to my email newsletter. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with trinitydigitalmedia.com.